Hey, everybody, welcome to Friends and Recovery Podcast.com. I am Mike Miles, the Podfather, and I'm here with
Jersey Ed.
And Noontime with Sky.
Here it is.
That's
the three of us together again. Here we are.
That was pretty good.
Yeah,
Smooth.
I think we have a guest today too, don't we?
We do have a guest. We'll get to her in a minute. Lexie PS. I have a whole bio on her. We're going to read. It's a long one, and but she's fascinating. I was able to spend some time with her and her daughter, my wife and I, last night, and she's just a wealth of knowledge of recovery. And
very nice.
Yeah, we'll bring her in here in a minute. But everybody doing good, Mike? I see all your stuff in the background there. Looks good. You're
comfortable room.
Yeah.
It's a busy room, but it's comfortable. Yeah,
that's it. And you guys might be getting some snow soon.
A little bit, yeah. Thinking of going skiing actually with my good friend Jack Dolan, who'll be contacting you later today. We had breakfast this morning, and I haven't skied in 20 years. So it's interesting. Yeah, hope I don't break anything.
We hope not either.
No black diamonds.
It could be fatal. You know what I mean?
How you doing, Sky? You doing good?
Good, yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna like today's guest, Sky.
Yeah, I think so.
I know. You guys were hitting it off a little bit before the show, so let's bring her in. Without further ado, Lexie has been in the substance abuse field for several years, sharing her experience, strengths, and hope with others through writings and field work. She's actually wrote a book called Dark Days, and we'll talk a little bit about that. She spent 3 years in Florida before moving back north, where she currently lives with her family and her 3-year-old daughter. This is from Lexie, not me. She's a badass single mom with quite the story, which we'll be hearing some of today. Also, she's cool. That's what she put on there with 2 laughing emojis. So I thought that was cool. I had to read that because that takes a woman who knows where she wants to go and what she wants to do. And welcome to the show, Lexie. We really appreciate you coming on.
Hi, Lexie.
Hey. Welcome.
Thanks for having me. It was meet you last night, Ed.
Yeah, absolutely. And we got to meet her daughter too. We all went to the melting pot, and we all had fun, and life was good. Life was sober. Life was rememberable. Life was, those moments like last night are like, you remember those things, the moments when we were using, drinking and drugging and doing our thing, we don't remember those. And I'm sure, Lexie, you can kind of attest to a lot of that in your story. So tell us a little bit about you, and, feel free to talk about whatever you want.
Okay. So I'm 32 now. I started using like drugs when I was probably like 18. And I did the whole treatment thing like probably 10 times. It took me to Florida when I was 24-ish. Up until then, I was like pretty much a functioning addict. I went to school. I graduated from Drexel with a degree in addictions counseling. Wow. I mean, yeah, I was doing okay. And then, things just got bad like they always do. And I couldn't get it together. I went to the retreat up here in Lancaster back in 2013. And that was the first time that I was really introduced to AA. So it was interesting. I didn't know a lot about it. It kind of piqued my interest. I was like, okay, maybe I should go to a halfway house, but I don't know. I wasn't 100% about it. So I went to a halfway house and I met someone there and I got married in a couple weeks. We met at a meeting. It was really romantic. And
we can't relate. Yeah, not at all.
And our drug dealer drove us to the courthouse to get married. So it was
nice. So you waited a while before you met somebody. I met somebody right in rehab. So.
Oh yeah, no.
You wouldn't do that, right?
Yeah, no. No, he had 2 weeks clean, and I had 2 months, so I thought I was gonna save him. That whole deal. So, that's kind of the crazy shit that I do when I'm using. So that was just the beginning of it. So then I took my butt down to Florida. And the first time I went down there, I was still married to this guy and super codependent on him. And at this point, my addiction had kind of taken a different turn. I was shoplifting and selling stuff. We had a whole business going. just so we could have like money for drugs. So my addiction definitely like took us to like a really like weird spot. And I went down to Florida and I stayed for 30 days and I was like, you gotta send me like back up north. I can't do it down here. And when I moved back to Philly, it was like one of the worst winters I remember having up here. There was just like so much snow. And we lived like right on Ridge Ave. And the second I came back from treatment, we had gotten high. Like it was everything that, that they told me was going to happen, but I just wasn't ready to get clean. So whatever, I stayed up there for like 3 months and I was miserable. I hated my life. But I was like stuck with this guy and I felt like so bad because like I had private insurance and he didn't. And like, it was just like a whole very sick relationship. And I just kept praying that he would like get arrested. So
It's an honest program.
Yeah, it's an honest program.
So he
I pray that about Mike too, but he's a cop, so he's never gonna get arrested. So
The little woman's at home. Yeah.
Yeah, so he gets arrested, and then I had texted.
Oh, your dream came true. Oh, congratulations. That's a great wedding gift.
Yeah, so then I ended up going back down to Florida, and like at that point, I was just like so done with everything that like you could have told me that I had to do like 10 handstands a day, like to get clean, and I would have done like whatever you told me. So I went down and I was like very willing. Did the program, like went through AA, I had the service commitment, all that jazz. Started working in treatment and had sponsees, like that kind of stuff. And I really liked it. I loved living in Florida. Like I had a great group of people. And then I got involved with someone that I probably shouldn't have. And there was a lot of other stuff that was going on then, and I relapsed. At that point, I had like almost 18 months clean. And I was pretty well known down in Florida. So it was like a big hit to my ego. And I like was really ashamed of like what I had done. And I beat myself up for a long time. So a lot of it, I couldn't even really make sense of. Like there was just kind of like crazy stuff that had gone on. And the only way that I could make sense of it was through my writing. So I started writing just kind of like how I was feeling the first like 30 days that I had gone back to treatment, and I was relapsing and going in and out of treatment centers, but the whole time I was writing. And then I got really crazy at the last like month I was down in Florida. I robbed a drug dealer and I got tossed from a car. And I like flew up in the air and came down and like broke my pelvis, broke my foot. Like I mean, my addiction took me to like really dark places. And I should really be dead. I just remember going up in the air and like coming down and I was just like, fuck. But like, I didn't care at that point. Like I was like, realistically, I was trying to die. I had tried to kill myself like a few days before and it just like, it didn't work. So I was like out of money.
Oh my
and I was
God.
like, someone just fucking kill me, like, please. And so I didn't die. And I ended up being in the hospital for like 3.5 weeks in Florida. And my dad drove all the way down from Pennsylvania to come get me. And he drove me back up here. I couldn't walk. And I like laid on the couch downstairs and I watched TV and I wrote and I talked to people like on Facebook because like my dad wouldn't give me a phone. I was like 27 and grounded. It was so bad. But like it was the worst thing that ever could have happened to me. But like when I came back up, I was still like so connected to all these other people down there that I was like still keeping in touch with them like online and I was writing and I was healing. And it wasn't, the way that everyone else has done things, but it was what worked for me. I mean, I had a therapist and stuff this time. So it was a little bit different than the first time. I tried AA up here and it wasn't for me this time, but I think that it was great. Like, and it really worked for me the first time. So I'm always like a big supporter of that. But yeah, so my writing kind of led me to that and to meeting like new people. I would like post my poems and stuff online and other people would kind of relate, I guess. So I wrote this book, and yeah, that's kind of the gist of it.
You've, you know, they say booze and drugs will take us to places we don't want to be, with people we don't want to be with, doing things we don't want to do. And boy, your story sure is a testament to that, I guess, huh? My goodness.
Let me tell you, the story that you just told now compared to what we were talking about last night. Can you bring the real Lexie in? I mean, the one I was talking to last night. I mean, it's just completely different. Like, you know, just hearing your story. What was the moment? I mean, I'm sure getting thrown out of a car, getting thrown up in the air or whatever. What was your moment saying, okay, I really got to change. I got to, you know.
Well, you said the gift of you got that desperation.
Yeah,
for sure. You mentioned that.
Talk about that.
Right. So that desperation was like when I was up in Philly, like this last time, I was just like, I kind of just got clean. Like, if I'm being honest, I got clean because my dad drug my ass up here and I had no choice. Like, I could not walk. So, and trust me, I tried to get drugs. Like, I could not tell you like when the last day that I used heroin was, because I don't remember. Like, I was in the hospital. And then when I came up here, I think I ate like perks like one day, because I found them in like a cabinet, and like that was it. And then I was just like done. Like, I could not get off my couch. I was like fucking stuck. So that happened. And then I was like, you know, I had put my dad through so much like over the years. Like, this man has like chased me through like alleys, like drug me like back in the house by like my pants. Like, he's like done so much for me. And I was just like, I can't keep doing this to him. So I kind of just was like, I don't give a fuck anymore. Like, I'm just done. Like, I didn't care. I guess I was apathetic, honestly. And then, he works at Penn where I work. And, he found me, they were looking for a crisis counselor, in the crisis center. And I didn't really have like that much time clean. I had maybe 5 months, maybe. And they hired me, and then that was just kind of like another reason to like keep staying clean. And then I got pregnant, and like there's just kind of been like these other reasons. And now it's like, it disgusts me. Like, when I think about like the stuff that I've like done, like but
it sounds like you stay connected with the community though, because you said as soon as you got out from the hospital, you were texting and still messaging. So that network is still important to you, whether it's AA or whatever it is. It's that network. You stayed intertwined with people that were trying to do the next right thing. You know?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's as I mentioned too. It's recovery is, and Father, you can attest to this because you and I talk about this all the time, is that recovery is a journey. You know, getting clean is a journey, getting sober is a journey. And just because you went down to Florida didn't mean you failed. It sounds like you got a lot of good things down there. You learned a lot of good things. So when this came up and this was kind of prevalent in your life, and you're relapsing, you were able to pull from the past. Is that correct? I mean, it wasn't bad that you went down to Florida and then, you know, you were, you know, I got clean here and that was it. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, no, I definitely stayed connected to everyone down there.
Yeah.
I still talk to people down there. So.
Yeah, exactly.
How's your dad? He sounds like a great guy. Sounds like
a Philly dad too, nonetheless. Just saying.
Yeah.
Good dad. Yeah, he's doing well.
He's a really good dad. Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Siblings? You have siblings? Brothers, sisters?
I have one little sister. I have a stepsister and a stepbrother. So yeah, they have seen a lot of shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on your sobriety. It sounds like
Thank you.
rough road, but look where you're at. That's
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Before we take a break here, Skylar, you want to talk to us? I'm let everybody. If you have any questions for Lexie, you can call us at 617-379-1163, or you can email us at help@friendsandrecoverypodcast.com. That's help@friendsandrecoverypodcast.com. And I know there's a bunch of ways also on social media, Skylar, how they can get a hold of us.
So you can reach us. Genesis House has a page that you can like. There is a private group on the Genesis page if you're an alumni to join. There is a Friends and Recovery podcast page to like as well. And then there's another Friends in Recovery Answering the Call First Responders podcast page. And then we have a Friends in Recovery Community of Support private group. And so we have different things like that on social media to reach us, as well as meetings. We have daily meetings at 12 p.m. and 7 p.m. that are virtual on Zoom. We have a Monday, the Monday 12 p.m. is a step group with Friends in Recovery. There is also a meditation on Monday nights at 8:15.
That's a great meeting. That's a great meeting.
It's a quick 15 minutes
Yeah.
to get involved in meditation. We always talk on here about how meditation is so important. So, and then Tuesday, there's an alumni and friends meeting. So, it's geared for alumni, but friends are welcome as well. And then always keep an ear out for activities. Like they just went to the mountains and went hiking. So keep an ear out on the social media pages. We keep that in there. So I think that's it.
That's it.
Good job, Skylar. Good job.
Thanks.
Mike, you want to take us to the commercial break?
Yes, I do. I would love to take us to the commercial break. Friends of Recovery. We'll be right back.
You're first. First to respond. First to put others' lives before your own. And in an emergency, you need a network that puts you first, that connects you to technology, to each other, and to other agencies. Built with and for first responders. FirstNet, the only congressionally authorized wireless network for first responders. Because putting you first is our job.
Since 1992, Genesis House has been helping real people heal from addiction on their private recovery campus in beautiful Palm Beach County, Florida. Their family-owned program is accredited by the Joint Commission and offers detox and dual diagnosis treatment in a comfortable and confidential setting. At Genesis House, they focus on treating the underlying causes of addiction. Their comprehensive approach includes psychiatric care, individual and small group therapy, trauma healing techniques, and holistic care including yoga, massage, and animal-assisted therapy. After treatment, their clients enjoy the lifelong support of a nationwide network of Genesis House alumni. Call Genesis House today at 1-800-737-0933 to speak with someone who understands. Visit them on the web at www.genesishouse.net. It's time to start your journey to a long and successful recovery.
We have Lexie PS here with us. She's an author, a badass mom. She works in the field. She's a person in recovery. The story of a relapse and how she made her way back through the relapse, and she's kind of helping people out now, which is great. I love that story when somebody battles back from this shit and kind of makes it, and able to help other people. So Lexie, we were talking about your book before. Well, we were going to go into your book before the break, and I think we were interested. Oh, hold on, guys. You know what time it is, Mike? Podfather? Anybody know what time it is?
I have no idea.
Super pod.
It's sober pod time, baby. Lexie's like, what is going on? Mike, do you want to explain sober pod to Lexie, how near and dear it is to my heart?
Yeah, he's obsessed with this podcast. So I think they're afraid of him. They're thinking of getting a restraining order. So
the restraining order went through. I just got the knock on the door before the show started. I asked them if I could just do one more show with them, and they said yes. So, but Sober Pod is a great show. It's four folks from the left coast out in California. It's Carl, Steve, Ellen, and Chelsea. I think Chelsea's in Utah though, and they just talk about topics, and I listen to them religiously every week on my long runs. And they just love our show. We love their show. They've been speakers on this show. We actually had them on this show all together. So guys, listen to Sober Pod. I say it every week here on this show right after the break. Carl, Steve, Ellen, and Chelsea, we love you guys, and keep up the good work over there.
Good job.
Lexie, all right. So that's my man crush. I got a tattoo and Sober Pod.
Don't listen to him.
Anyways, tell us about your book. And I know Skylar wanted you to read maybe a favorite line out of the book or something, the name of the book and how you came up with it and all that too.
Okay, so this is called Dark Days right here. I don't know. Can people see this or no?
They can. Yeah, they can.
People are watching. Whatever. Some of the first maybe like the first 10 poems are from way back in the day. Like there's like one or two from when I was like 18, and then a couple from when I was like 20 something. But the bulk of it was from when I had relapsed after having like 18 months clean, and then kind of that whole probably about like 9 months trying to get clean. So there's a lot of, I don't know. it's weird to like look back on it because like when I read the poems, like I know exactly what I'm talking about and like what was bothering me like at that point. And when I was writing it, it was just kind of like a way for me to heal. And then all these other people were kind of like relating, and I was starting to meet people. And that was really why I like published it, was because like other people kept like reaching out to me about it. So I was like, okay, because like when I read it now, I'm like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. So
Feeling totally exposed and vulnerable, right?
yeah, it was like,
But
I
that's what
didn't
helps
feel
people.
so weird. Yeah. But then once I like was like mailing it out to people, I was like, everyone knows
Yes.
everything.
Mhm.
Podfather, you're in the middle of writing a book. Can you relate to that?
Ken, it's a lot of work. It's a lot harder than I thought. I mean, I started in 1990. I put it aside. I worked on my personal life and started my own business and worked 2 jobs. And I've been a busy guy, you know. I retired into working like 60 hours a week. So
And he has to deal with me every week.
I really enjoy what I'm doing because I have so many topics to choose from and things pop into my head, and it's just I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah.
What kind of book are you writing?
It's kind of like a novel, and it touches on recovery. I've been sober over 34 years, so I'm fortunate that way. But I got sober at 32 when I was a young cop. I had been a cop for 5 years, and I include all kinds of observations, actual stories, actual events that occurred. Some funny, some sad, some treacherous, dangerous. Very, very. But the whole gist of it is about recovery and about never giving up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's he's been talking about a long time. I know Mike for 12, 13 years now, and he's been talking about the whole time. So when people guests like this come on and publish books or whatever, I know he's kind of up there trying to,
We're gonna check yours out.
he'll pick your
Yeah.
brain after the show. So the book is all about poetry, all about kind of understanding your life, where it was. That's really, really cool. I like what you said. I knew exactly where I was at when I read each poem, and it's cool because that's your version of it, but somebody else is going to get a version of it, and they're going to be like, well, I remember I first got sober when I read that poem, or brought me back to this. So that book is going to keep going on, and different versions and different things are going to happen to it, because poems are a lot easier to read than a whole book, and you can identify with a poem one at a time, or maybe just one person will understand the poem out of that book, and they'll take that poem with them for the rest of their life, and they'll think like, oh my God, I remember exactly where I was when all that happened. So
Right.
I think that's really cool. So you want to kind of read something out of it? Maybe we can all know where we were at when that happened.
Okay, so I'll give you a one-liner and then I'll read you a little bit of a longer one. So
Okay.
this one, so this is one that like most people like. It says, one day you'll realize we're all just chasing ghosts and moments we felt free.
Yes, that's quote worthy. Yeah, love it.
Wow.
And then let me say, so I'll read you, this one is from when, this is like about the night that I relapsed. I mean, and it's pretty obvious that it is. So, drenched in cold sweat, I am nauseated at the sight of the girl in the mirror. She looks to me with a cold, blank stare. I watch as she traces old trails on her neck with the tips of her fingertips, searching for an easy mark, one that will lead her home. I scream, you don't have to do this, disconnected and silent. Her eyes overflow with darkness. She stares at the tip of her syringe, straddling a line she feels she's already crossed, wrestling demons she swore she'd laid to rest, and they're shouting, they're god-awful shouting. If she can just get it in her veins, they will settle. They'll settle. Her body tenses as she pulls back, watching blood mix with poison. She whispers to no one in particular, forgive me, as she takes the plunge. A self-perpetuating fuck as the demon dances through her veins once more, and I ache for her as she sings that old familiar tune, one which seeps into my own ears as I watch the girl in the mirror crash to the floor, eyes flutter, lips blue, such a sad girl I've become.
Mm.
Oh,
Wow, that's you. You are a
So you work in the field now, right?
Wow.
And is there times you hear some newcomers or people in a crisis situation where you're like, I know the perfect poem they could hear? Because I mean, like you said, you remember when you were in certain spots, so you got to see it in the field too, right? Like where you're like, oh, I got the perfect poem for you.
There's one it would take me a while to find it, but there is one poem that I like wrote for one of my clients one time down in Florida, and I've used it for like a few of my friends. It's but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so you've been inspired by some to write them, and
Yeah,
then
but
you see
like,
where they can relate.
yeah, I guess
Nice.
so.
that was a heavy poem, man.
Yeah.
That was really heavy. That was just I mean, anybody that relapsed. I mean,
Right.
I was watching Podfather when you were reading it, and he was just, what was going through your head there,
Well,
Podfather?
I've been to so many overdoses, and
Yeah.
I never shot anything, but I certainly snorted my fair share. But I've seen people come back to life, just like in Pulp Fiction. I've seen it. I've been there. I've seen people that were blue and gray all of a sudden spring up and start swinging away.
Mm,
Yeah, that's a deep poem, and you're a wordsmith. You have a real
mm.
talent to
Yes.
fit all that,
Thank-
fit all those emotions and feelings in that one paragraph is really a unique ability, and I'm looking forward to reading your book.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Yeah, good
Yeah,
stuff.
that would just kind of, I mean, I don't know if anybody else felt it, but I just kind of, I relapsed too, years and years ago at the beginning of my my recovery, and it was on alcohol, but not heroin. But I kind of vividly remember that day as you were saying that. I remember sitting at this dark, disgusting, smelly bar, sitting next to my dad and promising my wife I'm only gonna have 2 little beers. And a year and a half later, man, it was just, still game on a year and a half later. And that's pretty scary, man. That's some good stuff. That's some good stuff for people who relapse or who are thinking about relapsing. You know, I don't know why you're thinking like, oh, it's kind of weird or whatever. That was amazing. That was completely amazing. So
Yeah,
Well, thank you.
definitely. That can help a lot of women out there and males. I mean, we've all been there, at least, a relapse, they know that feeling,
Yeah.
so awesome.
You're a
Podfather
very,
G, yeah. Go
no,
ahead.
she's very humble, very humble young lady. I mean, obviously, she's got a lot of humility, and yeah, I'll tell you, I've been around the recovery business a while, and believe me, that self-assessment of what you were, doing is just, I mean, that's like a Rembrandt. Seriously, that you painted a hell of a picture.
Yeah, absolutely. Lexie, what would you say to somebody that's sitting there, that girl maybe listening to this show, that guy? It could go either way. I mean, you just insert yourself here. What would you say to somebody that's sitting there just waiting to plunge that needle into their arm, mixing the poison with blood? What would you say that different, or I know your journey was your journey, but if you can say to somebody something to stop them from doing that, what would it be? If there's anything that you have. I mean, that was deep, man.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that you can stop anyone before they're ready. I think that a lot of people have to take themselves through hell
Right.
to get clean. I do think that if there are people out there that are struggling, I hope that they reach out for help, and that it doesn't have to get that bad. But it can get so much better. I know that when you're down in the trenches and you just like think that you just like would not want to be alive like another day, it gets better. I mean, I have like, I can't even explain to you, like, if I would have thought that like all that shit that I would have gone through, like would have like led me to Riley, I would have gotten clean so much quicker. Like she's just like my everything.
Yeah.
So she was my light at the end of the tunnel, but there's always a light like for everyone. I think people have to keep that in mind.
Yeah. And when you were just in that moment thinking, ready to take that needle and all, you had no idea that your life would change with your daughter. Your life would be completely different all those years later. You were, and everybody, whoever's listening, you're just thinking about the moment. You're just thinking about getting high. You're just thinking about taking the pain away. You have to think about the future. And like you said, Lexie, there's no really stopping anybody when they're at that point. That was pretty deep into it, but still, even before you get to that point, listen to that poem that she read. Rewind this. The good thing about these shows, you can rewind it. Listen to it 10 times if you want to relapse, and listen to where she was at that place. And now listen to this show now and listen to where she's at now, because she was one of the fucking lucky ones that survived. She really was. You know, all four of us in this room were one of the lucky ones. We're the minority. We are not the ones that should have lived. We should have, you know. So if you're thinking about it, just listen to this podcast and listen to that beautiful poem. So anyways, everybody's like,
now that it's all deep.
I know.
Yeah, that was deep. It definitely was. And,
I
you
know. I know. So tell us a little bit about, we only got a couple minutes here. Is the book available? Can somebody order it? Where can we order it? Can't we order it? If you can't, can you think about maybe, you know, publishing it?
So the book is from like 5 years ago. So there are no more. I self-published it. So there were only like 250, 300 copies that were made. I do still have the PDF somewhere. So I do have it if I wanted to publish more. I have been tossing around the idea of doing another book. It's just I've been like writing here and there. So we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
But if anyone does want access to the book, I am happy to find the PDF and email it.
Great. And you can email us at help at friendsandrecoverypodcast.com and request it. And I'll make sure that Lexie gets your email, or give us a call at 617-379-1163. So Lexie, thank you so much for being on the show. Just an amazing guest. Podfather, any closing words on this?
It's great. You know, as usual, you got to get another good guest. You know, we do this on a weekly basis, and we're out there to help people. I actually got an email yesterday afternoon from a gentleman that been listening to our show, and I connected with him. He sent his phone number, and I don't even know how he found us. He sent it to an email it's not even my email. Someone else sent it to me. So, but that's the point, you know, is he's looking for help, and his text message just told me everything I needed to know. So I contacted him, and we're going forward. And it's because of the show, you know, it's because of this podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great guest, Lexie. Really nice hearing everything you had to say, and keep it up.
Absolutely. Sky, any closing words before we go?
I want to thank your dad for not giving up on you. Thank him, because that book and that poem is really, that's heavy, but I mean like heavy that it could be so helpful to someone that needs to hear it, you know? So, you know, give your dad a big hug today for us too.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Lexie, thank you very much. Podfather, that's about it. We have,
Great show.
Great show. Thank you guys. And you know, just give us a call if you need anything, but Podfather, you want to take us out?
Everything's on the show notes. Don't forget.
Everything's in the show notes. Yes,
right.
Yes. Everything is in the show notes.
So, hey, Friends in Recovery podcast. Stay sober, everybody.
Yeah, stay sober, guys.